You've got to be real with yourself and stop falling for the same tricks and tactics that the whales, I'm talking the big money, the VCs, the project founders, and the cabal are using to take money out of your hands and put it into theirs. It's tricks and tactics that have been used for centuries now to take money from the less fortunate and continue accumulating wealth in the hands of the very wealthy. Now, in this video, I'm going to outline some of those deceptive tricks and tactics that the big money uses to trick your brain, okay, into giving them more of your money. Now, I've got three very important tactics that you need to know about because it's going to allow you to, when we do go into alt season, and I do think it's more of a possibility we do than we don't, you want to be aware of them because, like I said, I see people falling for this all the time still, and I just don't want you to waste this opportunity that we don't get very often. Again, once in every 4 years, roughly speaking. So in this case, you're looking at a chart here. This is others' dominance versus Bitcoin dominance. So when this chart goes down, what does that mean? When this chart goes down, guys, that means that Bitcoin is gaining strength. When this chart goes up, that means altcoins are gaining strength. So this is very important because essentially it's a gauge in alt season, all right? And so what you're looking at here is essentially Elliott wave patterns. More particularly, you're looking at a 5-wave impulse pattern here, a 5-wave impulse pattern here, and a 3-wave corrective pattern here and here. Now, to cut you the TA lesson, and look, I'm not a TA expert myself. That's why I've created a trading group, links down below, full of literal experts, 20-year experts, like actual guys who are making people in that community a lot of money, whether the market goes up, down, left, or right. You know, I'm leaving it up to them. But what I'm looking at here is, I think, very obvious, okay? And again, it's looking at essentially this bullish impulse pattern here. Again, what we have is 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we have a 3-wave corrective pattern here. This actually came after the 2018 high. So we had full-blown alt season here. And then essentially we had the market correct. Okay, this red box here, we had A, B, C wave. We actually went into a wedge here, a sort of a falling wedge. Okay, and then you can see it was bullish. We broke out of that, and then we went into a 5-wave sort of impulse pattern again. Okay, so we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was the 2021 to 2022 alt season. Okay, and again, you can see the same pattern is playing out yet again. Okay, so from the highs over here from the previous cycle, so this is back in January of 2022. That was when alt season fully peaked out. We've come down with an A, B, and now we are at the very tail end of the C corrective pattern. You can see here the same sort of wedge is actually playing out here, this sort of falling wedge, where of course we are going closer and closer towards that point, which of course means there's a high likelihood that we do have a similar situation to back here where we actually break out of it. So like Bitcoin and altcoins want to be in a bull run. It's very evident they want to be in a bull run because if they were showing extreme signs of weakness, like wanting to be in a bear market, they would be breaking through a lot of these patterns and we'd be a lot more bearish right now. So that's a very good sign to see. Now, first of all, I wanted to quickly just mention the fact that, you know, people talk to me all the time about Chiron. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, ETFs. We have institutions buying Bitcoin and Ethereum with no indication on wanting to buy altcoins. There's going to be no alt season. Well, I've got news for you. Okay, we track this in the private community. We track a lot of things in our community because I think data speaks more than emotion. And I think a lot of people are more emotional in this market and they don't look at data. Okay, so in this case, this sheet right here tracks in real time the data in regards to money flowing around Bitcoin, ETH to altcoins, and altcoins at all different market cap levels, right down to the bottom 3,000 you can see here. And so eventually speaking, when we do top out into more of an alt season, like we do have over here and over here, what's going to happen is, of course, what's always happened, where people, of course, move money from Bitcoin, ETH, and some of these top coins down and down and down and down. And you don't need much money to actually pump these altcoins because, as most of you should know, if you actually look now in terms of the order books of these altcoins and essentially how much money is required to move these, it's not as much as you may think. For example, this is ICP's chart I recently pointed out in a video, okay? For ICP to go up a 30x from its current price, okay, and go to an 83 billion market cap, you'd only need $1.3 billion to actually push it up that much. You don't need 80 odd billion invested in the coin to do that. You need about 1.3 billion. That's accounting also for sell pressure. So this flow-on effect that we do track here, it will send altcoins up insane amounts. Okay, if we go to a 10 trillion market cap, we're going to see, roughly speaking, about $900 billion invested in the top 90 coins. As you can imagine, you know, with $1.3 billion being able to 30x ICP, IC being a top 30 altcoin, yeah, again, a lot of money is going to be flowing around these coins. We don't need trillions of dollars to push these coins up, as deceiving as the market caps make it out to be. And that's the thing, right? Because we all think that, ICP needs $80 billion to 30x, not the truth, which is 1.3 billion. We go to like small caps here, or pump fund coins, or we go to micro caps, or we go to these small cap coins. And as Peter from House of Crypto points out in this, I think, fabulous tweet, he goes over the statistics of how likely you are to actually make money in these low cap coins, in these meme coins, in these pump fund coins, these micro caps that, again, you think you have to go into because, again, Ondo or ICP for some reason can't go up to 30x. Whereas I'm trying to tell you right now, it definitely can in alt season. If you want to make $50,000 on pump fund memes, guess what? You're more likely to survive being struck by lightning twice, okay? Or if you want to make even $1,000, which I think is very reasonable, you're more likely to get into Harvard and Stanford in the same year, or be drafted into the NBA. So that's the thing, okay? This is one of the many tactics that I think is used in crypto to deceive people. I was screwed over in the last bull run because I thought the same way. I thought I had to go into the micro caps, small coins, in order to make any sort of life-changing money. But in fact, if you're early enough, like right now, these, again, large caps will go up quite a lot, and they don't need much money to do that. I prefer to go larger caps. I'm talking about like top 500 personally. I think top 500 coins here, okay, based on wealth distribution, like this over here, just tends to see the most amount of money invested in it anyway. You're fighting over scraps down here, which isn't a bad thing, but just when you're thinking about your portfolio as a pie chart, don't over allocate to the small caps. I think it's a very wise decision to, of course, be spread across large caps, mid caps, and if you want to, of course, some small caps. But don't forget, this all starts from a goal. If your goal is to take the money you've invested in crypto and 10x that, look for coins that can do a 15x, right? So you're comfortable at a 10x. If your goal for some reason is 10 Ferraris, 10 Lamborghinis, a mansion on the beach, and a new wife, well, guess what? You're probably going to need $100 million. And in that case, if you're starting with $10,000, you will quickly realize it's a little out of my league. And hopefully that's a wake-up call to just be more realistic. Before we go any further, I want you to put your hand up if you're someone who's invested in any AI altcoin right now. Like, seriously, put your hand up. Because if your hand is in the air, then there's a chance that you could be avoiding a really big area of the AI market that you've never even known about. You see, while most of the market has been chasing AI meme coins and speculating on agent tokens, the real revolution is happening at the infrastructure layer. And when the market catches up, it's probably going to be too late. What I'm talking about here is a coin like Hive Intelligence, which is an AI infrastructure altcoin selling picks and shovels in this AI revolution, providing the backbone of what makes autonomous agents possible. I'm talking about real-time data feeds, cross-chain APIs, and Oracle networks specifically designed to enhance AI agents that span across more than 60 different blockchains. So you can think of Hive kind of like the graph or Chainlink of AI. And the crazy part is Hive isn't just another white paper crypto pipe dream project. It's actually functioning right now, pairing AI models like Sharp AI's Sharp Search. Hive has grants awarded by Google, Amazon, and NVIDIA. And while none of which are overly difficult to obtain, it does mark an important milestone in any startup's lifespan. And after all, Google, Amazon, and NVIDIA don't just accept anyone into any of their programs. Importantly, Hive was fairly launched way back in 2020, meaning no VC backing and no nasty token unlocks. By 2025, experts predict AI agents will execute up to 90% of all of the on-chain transactions. But of course, the thing is, these agents need infrastructure to bloody function. That's where Hive steps in. The opportunity cost is projected to be around $160 billion by 2030, and it all depends on having the right infrastructure. AI agents need to be fast, reliable, and comprehensive with data feeds to function, and the infrastructure providers that solve this first are obviously going to capture most of that value. So make sure to do your own research, understand the technology first and foremost, and watch Hive very closely. If you want to learn more about Hive, make sure you check out the Twitter, which I'll leave in the description below, and remember to speak to your financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Now, what I have to explain to you next is extremely important, and I don't want you to be one of them guys that like listen to this and go, I'm not going to worry about applying this. I really want you to listen in, because like I said, this is something I think a lot of people fall for, and it goes against the grain of crypto. It really truly does. You won't hear many people talking about this, and that is market caps. Market cap is actually used to trick you into believing a coin is more valuable or quality than it really is. And that's because the way market cap is found is by taking price and multiplying that by supply. Now, this is important because price is found on free markets, right? You can see here price is, well, this price up here for Ondo, for example, 83 cents, is found by averaging all of these markets you can see down here, all right? It's the average price. They all slightly change, but it's the average. Now, projects can't change the free market price. I mean, they can pay market makers like Mantra OM did, which obviously was a very bad thing. But for the most part, they can't really influence price legally. What they can do is increase their supply. What they can do is put more tokens in circulation. And what that does is, the way that the algorithm works is it takes price times supply. So if they increase the supply, okay, it oftentimes doesn't impact the price. So when you see Ondo here, like jumping up from 1.4 to 3.3 billion tokens, what they've effectively done here is artificially bumped up the market cap. And what that does is it actually sends the ranking of the coin up higher. So you can see back over here, when Ondo actually unlocked, it was about 2.5 times the amount of supply instantly. What happened was the market cap actually jumped up from 1.7 billion instantly to 4.4 billion. And what that does is, like I said, it sent the coin from rank 63 on CoinMarketCap up to rank 33. It doubled or halved, essentially, its ranking. Okay, without doing anything other than increasing the amount of tokens in circulation. The way that CoinMarketCap works is order of market cap ranking. Now, a lot of us know the higher the coin, the likely more quality it is, but not all the time. Okay, that's why Mantra, that's why Luna, and these other coins actually ended up being very high market caps, but still essentially being rug pulls. Now, I'm not saying Ondo is nefarious. I'm not saying Ondo as the project is dangerous. I'm using this because you guys know this is one of my all-time favorite coins. So if I'm talking openly about Ondo like this, and also openly about another favorite of mine, which is Pith, then you know it's a very real thing in crypto. The stark contrast between Ondo and Pith is that these guys did this in massive chunks. You can see here the unlock schedule is massive chunks. So it's very obvious to see these massive unlocks here. Again, Pith going from rank 121 up to rank 61. Again, the perceived value of Pith has just literally doubled in the eyes of many people because it's higher in the market cap rankings. But I also want to look at a massive example here, which is Solana. Okay, Solana in the previous cycle, okay, like, what's this? It had a total SOL in circulation of 73 million, and then it went to 430 million. SOL went up from a rank 133 at a 72 million market cap, instantly 15xing to a 1.1 billion market cap to rank 38. So all of a sudden, SOL's this, you know, average top 200 coin, and now it's a very much big contender. And again, people see it jump up in the rankings. So what do they do? Okay, they actually start buying the coin. They start buying the coin because they think, oh my God, this coin has just started moving up, and that naturally attracts momentum. Okay, it 15x's its market cap, but that doesn't mean the price will 15x along with it. So you can see here, the price only, 3x'd. Because what's happening is people going, oh, okay, so the Solana coin is breaking up the market cap rankings. It came out of nowhere. Influencers start talking about it. The product or the company, for example, might start even paying influencers to talk more about it. And all of a sudden, you get natural momentum and validity of the coin as it goes up the market cap rankings. Because like I said, this is ranked based on the market cap from high to low. So then, projects can obviously disguise this more discreetly in terms of like Pi here, for example, where, and again, I'm not picking on Pi, Solana, Pith, or Ondo particularly. Every project does this, whether it's genuine or nefarious. But what they do is they unlock tokens more regularly, maybe even in large chunks over the course of time. Now, I guess the takeaway here is to just be a little bit careful when you see a new coin, bust through the market cap rankings from, again, rank 200 up to like top 100 or top 50. You've got to ask yourself, was this done organically, and have I missed the boat? Because chances are, first of all, if it's done that, you've probably missed most of the gains anyway, but there could be a nefarious reason behind it. And again, I only make so much money. I don't have endless money. I'm guessing you guys are the same, obviously. So I'm not putting my money in anything that got to where it was artificially, okay? Because chances are there could be a weird, maybe nefarious reason why that was the case. The last thing I'll say here is actually going back to Solana's example, and some of you may be asking, like, Kyron, why didn't the price of Solana fall when it literally like 5 or 6 times instantly its supply? Like, again, it didn't actually fall here. It actually went up at that point in time. And the reason is simply because it matters where the tokens go, okay? This is kind of getting more complicated and more nuanced when it comes to understanding tokenomics in crypto. It's actually what I love to talk about myself, but to save you the boredom and wanting to leave and never look at crypto ever again, essentially, when you're unlocking tokens in crypto, you got to think about when they unlock, where are they going? Okay, because if these tokens unlock and are sent to an address or a token address that never decides to sell the tokens, then what's happened here is the market cap has increased because, again, it's the current price multiplied by the supply, so the new supply is increasing. If they don't sell their tokens, then it doesn't impact the price at all. Unlocking new tokens doesn't naturally instantly sell off the token and the price. If Solana unlocked, again, like 400 million tokens in one day and gave them all to me personally, and I didn't sell, the price is not going to fall down. So why this is important is we look at coins like Pith, who are going to have these huge unlocks, like I mentioned to you before. And what most of the retail money does, people like you and I, is they panic, right? So in the months and the weeks leading up to these unlocks, okay, we start selling the token because we're like, hey, there's a massive unlock coming up. And you naturally think, all right, that the unlock is going to drop the token price down. But that's not the case because, again, when tokens unlock, unless the person getting the token sells instantly, the price will not fall. So what often happens is in crypto, we have a sell the rumor event where weeks and months before the unlock, we have sell-offs from people panicking. And then on the day of the unlock, it's actually buy the news. So what happens is these whales basically force you to give them a cheaper token price. And they essentially, you can see here in this massive green candle, they just buy the fear. Right, the red candle came on the day prior, and then these guys just buy it all up. Now, unfortunately for Pith, all right, we had this massive, market crash right after that. Okay, but again, this is another way that these whales are able to make you essentially give them your tokens and get a great entry into these projects. So, like I said, guys, this isn't normal stuff that people like to talk about in crypto. I understand, but it's stuff that will help you become a better crypto investor. But I hope it has helped. And if it has, make sure again you hit that like button. I'm thinking the emoji we used today to really confuse people is going to be one of the thinking emojis. So if you've made it this far, hit me with the thinking emoji down in the comment section. I really appreciate you guys, and you know that. I hope you've learned in this video, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Take good care. Bye-bye.